I'm Andrew Phillips and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something fun. What I have in this box here is one of those Zultan animatronic kind of fortune tellers. They came out, well, they come out I guess around like Halloween. They're usually around 250 to 300 bucks. Picked this one up from a friend of mine. He had it, he acquired it and it wasn't working right, so I got it from him. He went ahead and purchased one that was working fine, but basically they're kind of like the thing that was in the movie Big with Tom Hanks is shown here. But this one here, you see them a lot of times on boardwalks, beaches, things like that. But this one here, unlike the one in the movie, because that one was custom made for the movie, that wasn't a real one that was around. But this one here is more like a tabletop version. It is a full-size head in here. But when it came out new, this is what it looked like.
It came with the wireless microphone and power adapter, which I have neither one. And it also had these legs on the bottom of the box. And you'll notice the box, they copied it off of this one that was made in the 60s and 70s by the company Profitron.
So the one that I have here is not working. It needs to be fixed. So in this video, we are going to be fixing it. And then once we're done repairing it, I'm also going to be making a kind of a wooden stand to make it more full size, similar to the one in the movie. Of course, it's going to be a little bit narrower, but we're going to be modifying it as well. So for this video, we're going to be repairing it and then modifying it to be coin operated and to be more of a full size. Let's go ahead and get started. Open this thing up.
Now, my friend did tell me that it did work because he actually has a store called The Unusual Company in historic Ellicott City, Maryland. If you're ever in the Baltimore, Maryland area, you want to check it out. I'll have a link to, I kind of did an overview of it a while back. He had Warrington Gillette, who was an actor who played Jason in Friday the 13th Part 2, because he hosts autograph signings and different things at that store. But I did a special there interviewing Warrington Gillette and overviewing the store. I'll have a link across the top for that, also down in the description. On that video, you can get the address if you want to check out the store, but he's got some cool stuff if you want to check that out. But let's pull this thing out and see what's what. All right, let me set this down here. Get rid of this box so we can see what's what. It's kind of coming apart. It looks like you can see the bottoms coming out here. It's missing some of the, it has acorn nuts that go here on the top, and I'll get it close if you can see it, but it's missing, it's only got one. I don't know what's holding it in the bottom, so we're going to have to get the replacements for those, obviously, but looks like there's some issues in here. But let me get the camera in here. We'll go around it so you can see what we're looking at, and then we'll start diagnosing what needs to be fixed so we can get that repaired. Then we'll move on to modifying it and making the base and staining it and all that stuff. Look here on top, here's one acorn nut here. You can see this one is missing. We come around here to this one. That one's missing. And we're missing the one back there. And then looking here into the box, you can see there's our fortune teller on the other side, but it looks like the head is broken off. You can see the head is just laying in there. Normally it needs to be upright. But let's take a look on the bottom. All right, tilt this back. Got to be gentle because with that head laying in there, I don't want anything getting damaged that can already be damaged. But it looks like we're missing two of the locking nuts on the bottom are missing, so we need to replace those. But before we even replace that, I got to get into this thing so we can see what's going on and what needs to be fixed. So this has a lid on it. We'll remove this acorn nut so we can open the lid and get in there and see what's going on with the head. And then it's supposed to also come with a power supply, which it did not. I do have one, so once we get the head adjusted, we can fire it up and make sure everything works. If not, we'll have to fix that. Remove this acorn nut. See if we can get this top off. It's kind of snug in there. And well, the box is coming apart now. I don't want to cause any more damage to the wiring and electric. Let's see if I can take a screwdriver, kind of lift it out. There we go. There we go. Set this off to the side. And all right, I can see what's going on here. Let me get a close up in here, but it looks like the former, not my friend, but the guy he bought it from who actually said he had repaired it, looks like he just zip tied stuff together. So we need to fix that. Let me get a close up. Here's where the head broke off. You can see there's some zip tie doing something there. I don't know what that is, but if we come this way, you can see where it goes into the head. That piece is broken off from that base. So that's first thing I need to do is get that head out of there so we can fix that. And then you can see the rest of it in here that it has. And it has these curtains that normally open. I believe it's, let me do this. It opens up when he starts talking and then it closes. So that'll be cool. But then you have these little spotlights that shine down. And this one here looks like it came apart. We'll have to fix that as well. And then while we're at it, let me just show you here on the back. But this is what the back of it looks like. Normally, it can take batteries or a plug. Battery door was missing, so my friend actually put that over there to cover it, but I don't care about that because we're not going to be using batteries on it. But there's our input, and then you can set the sensor on. It also came with a microphone at one time, which obviously I don't have. This is where you can control the volume of it. So I think it'll be cool once we have it up and running. Here's our screws right here that hold the mount for the head, so I'll probably have to take it off as well. But let me remove this out of here. I need to see what's going on with the head, these zip ties, the wires. We'll be back. Let me see what's going on, and then we'll be back to continue fixing that broken mount. I removed all of the pieces. So we removed, you can see here, the 4 screws. These are the 2 bottom. This one was here on the inside like this. This one on the inside like that, behind that screw piece. And then this one was up here at the top. They're on the inside. And you can see how it was zip tied. And if we come in here, this is the back of the head. There's the animatronics inside. And it looks like this thing was like loaded with super glue. Somebody was definitely trying to fix this before, then they zip tied it, just a real mess. And I'll show you how it's supposed to go. So this mount normally goes on like that. And it had broken off. They were trying to glue it. It's a mess. I think I'm just going to use a plastic welder and just try to weld all this back together. Obviously, the super glue epoxy did not work because with this thing moving, probably the vibrations on it just snapped it off. So we're going to try to use some plastic welder and try to actually weld this thing together and see if that doesn't solve the problem. And then once the head's in place, I think we can go ahead and test it. That seems to be the most major issue as far as in here. And then, of course, we have the little nuts that need to be replaced. That's an easy fix. I probably have that size. I think it looks like it's probably a M4 metric size. Then we need to take a look at this light in here and just some touching up. Once we get this all fixed and working, making the cabinet, and I have all the wood already, that'll be pretty quick and easy to put all that together, mount it, and I'm probably going to repaint this box to match the cabinet so it looks like all one piece. Probably have it standing about 5.5 to 6 feet high, and then it'll have a coin mechanism, which I have right here. Picked up just one of these old vintage ones to kind of give that effect, drop a quarter in there, and then we'll rewire it. You can see here on the front, you've got the push button down here. That's going to be rewired to go into the coin mechanism. So when you put the coin in all the way, that's going to activate it. So let me get this off so we can weld it on. I'm going to remove these. It has these rods holding it together in the corners. I'm going to pull those out so I can get easier access here to what's going on with the head, because I'm not able to get that bracket off of the head, so I'm going to have to do the welding in there, which I'm not too thrilled about because I don't want to damage anything with the latex and stuff, but need to
be able to lower this so I can clearly see what's going on with this. Do not want to damage any wires. You can see it here. It's a full-size head. It's pretty cool, and the eyes will move and the mouth moves. It's pretty cool once we get it up and running. But let's see, now that I've got it down, I can see what I'm looking at, because I don't want to be putting any strain on these wires. All right, so let's lean them this way. Or actually, maybe this way might be better. But it looks like, well, you can see here, some of these screws, whoever worked on it last didn't even put them in all the way. Some of them are half in. Just a very poor job of repairs, whatever they did to it. But if I can slide the latex off the head, the goal would be to remove this whole piece, but it's screwed in here on the other side, so I need to get to the other end. So I'm going to work on this, and then we'll be back. I was able to slide some of the latex off, and I can show you what we're looking at in here, but you can see the little motor, those little wires have come off, but you can see there's 3 screws there, and then there's 3 down there that I would need to remove in order to get this piece off. I don't know if I can get it all the way in there. I definitely have to solder on those 2 wires there. Looking inside, you can see there's, let's see if I can clear that up. You can see right in here, that piece looks like there's screws missing. That's supposed to be holding that together. So definitely need to do some work on this thing to get it fully up and running. But main thing is to get the mount fixed and then get these wires soldered on. Was able to get it off the rest of the way so you can see what's going on here. So this is the bottom part of the chin, right? So this goes up and down as it talks, but you can see this is what I was showing you before. That's supposed to be screwed in like that. The screws are missing, so this thing is just flopping around. That needs to be fixed. This is broken right down here. Not a big issue because that's covered, but now we have access to solder that motor back on and get this piece here removed. So I'm going to remove all this, and then we'll be back to do the plastic welding on that. And then I'll put the screws in here, solder that on, and I think the head will be good to go. We can reattach it and then test it. There we go. Came right off, and then we have this piece, which is the plate that it goes onto. We don't want that coming off, but I just want to show it to you. That should stay put, because now when I solder that on, we won't be able to slide that back on. So now with this off, we can properly sand it and clean this and get it ready for welding. Everything has been welded. You can see where we welded all the cracks. It's nice and solid. Get a close-up of it here for you. Even on this side, got it all nice and tight. Look in here. Up in there, we added the screws, so that jaw piece. Some of these screws were loose. We tightened those. Wires have been resoldered in here. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get some power into it, test it, and make sure everything's working. Here's what it looks like now with the latex removed, just to give you an idea here. And this is still cracked right there. That's not going to be an issue because it'll be over that. And the bottom part of the chin's broken off. I don't know what happened to that, but that's basically how it is. And then when he talks, that goes up and down. The eyes have mechanical motors turned side by side, things like that. So once we have it up and running, it'll be pretty cool.
Once again, the all-seeing Zultan must consult the spirit world to reveal what is yet to come. nothing. I see it. The answer is not what you would think, nor hope. Beware. The great Zultan sees what is to be. Use this knowledge wisely.
Next, I'm going to rebuild this chin, and to do so, I'm just going to use a plastic spoon. And I have one here that I already cut because the main part of the spoon has a nice rounded edge just like a chin. So we're going to put this in place, and I'm going to use my plastic welder and just weld that on. So that way we get a good bond of it here. Everything is done, and you can see it there, all connected. All nice and solid, has a good shape to it. And next we'll stretch the latex back over it. And I have to work it gently, and you can see there how the chin is filling in nicely right there. Got to tuck it in, get a nice good grip. And what I didn't show is I did have to put some epoxy in there right around the lower lip to really secure that on there as well. Just used a hole saw to open this up where I'm going to be running the micro switch that'll go down to the coin mechanism here. And then I did this one here for the speaker. That way we can get the sound into the cabinet. Here inside the cabinet, you can see the cables coming through to the micro switch, and there's our speaker. A little bit off center, I'm going to have to widen that hole, but we'll screw in the micro switch here. I put this piece of wood here as a mount, which is right in place for where the coin mechanism will come through. And here's a shot looking from the bottom up. You can see how everything is laid out. Assembling the legs here, I had the decorative pieces I bought and then some 3x3 wood that I cut down to size and then drilled it out. So we're threading them in, but also adding the wood glue. You can see them here in place drying. Still a little bit raw on the 3x3. We'll clean that up before we're done, but there it is on the bottom, all in place. Let me show you something here. If you look at the right curtain right here, watch. It sags down. It doesn't open like the left one. So we're going to open up the mechanism to it and get that fixed. So pulling this down, behind this cover here, that's the motor for it. So let me get close up. You can see what's going on. You have these two arms here that hinge on this screw. When the left one is rotated by the motor, the one on the right opens with it and slides, but it keeps falling back and dropping. There's a little groove in there where it's supposed to lock, but I don't know if it's worn out or what. But you can see, watch this. See how it kind of drops back instead of holding its place? So what I did here is I took some zip ties and filled that groove to make it solid. That way it can't fall back into that. So let's try it now. As you can see, both of them stay open to the position that they need to be. It is going to drop a little bit because once the animatronics kick in, the motor for the curtain kind of goes into a rest mode, so we'll sag a little bit, but at least they're both opened.
As you can see, the structure is all finished. All the woodwork is done. Next thing that I'm going to do is I picked up the paint. I was able to find the actual greenish gray tone that was used by Gemmy, or Gemmy, the name of the company that made this animatronic originally. So the plan is we're going to paint this entire cabinet just a satin black base, which is kind of what's done here. This box was molded in black and highlighted, and then once it dries, we're going to take this and kind of airbrush it on with the aerosol can and get that grayish greenish color. Once that's done, I'm going to get some aged gold and do the gold accents all with that aged gold, and then also put a little bit of red in there as well to kind of give it that gypsy look. But let's get this off. We're going to start painting it black, and then when that dries, we'll be back to hit it with the gray.
This mechanism is almost 50 years old, so it is rough, and I want it that way here on the outside, but of course the mechanisms inside need to be worked on. They're very rusted and just kind of worn out. We're going to hit it with some WD-40, get some penetrating oil on there to loosen things up, clean it up really good. That way it'll slide and have a good spring return after the coin goes in. Look at that, starting to loosen up already. We'll work it out, and it should be good to go.
Everything is done. The whole box has been painted, detailed, kind of gave it that aged look, trying to get it to match the structure here of this Zultan. I was able to get a gray very close to that color. It's not perfect. This one's got a little more green, but it's close enough. Aged it out, and then I did these plaques on the side. Wanted to do them in freehand, so I just used a silver marker to kind of emulate kind of that paint, trying to match the style of plaques that you see down on the beaches from like the 60s and stuff like that, like if you're on the boardwalks and things. So just kind of did it in freehand, and that lettering also tried to match a little bit of the Zultan lettering. But as we just saw when we went around it,
We have the plaques on the side. So on this side it says "See Your Future," and on the legs we have these little wooden carved keys because the key to unlock your future. On the other side it says "Know Your Fate," and there's little clocks that are on the legs as shown here. And those are there because with your fate, your time is running out. So I was just kind of messing around as I was making this thing to make it kind of have a little more of a kind of a story behind it instead of just a box. But I'm going to get a quarter. We're going to pop it in. And as it says here, put a coin in if you dare. What you see will cause a scare. So let's put the coin in and see what happens. Pretty cool the way it kicks on as soon as you push this in.
A word of advice. You are troubled by a decision that you must make. Take the chance, or you shall regret it for all of your days. The crystal grows dark. Long live Zultan.
All right, as you saw, that's pretty cool. Coin activated, it goes in there, and it's sitting at 5'7.5". I'm 5'8", so it's almost as tall as me. So I can look right into his eyes, slightly down, so I can see the skeleton. But show you one other thing. I was able to get a hold of the microphone. When this was new, it came with this wireless microphone where you could talk through it, and he would match the mouth movement. So let me turn it on and I'll show you. We'll turn it on. Hello and welcome to the Phillips game room. I'm Andrew Phillips. I hope you enjoy this Zultan animatronic. Isn't that pretty cool? So whatever you do and say, he will emulate that. So if you're using it for a party, things like that, that's pretty cool. So, and when you shut it off, closes the curtain. Okay, well that pretty much wraps up this video on how to repair one of these Zultan animatronic machines by, I believe it's called Gemmy. It's Gemmy is the company that made it. These are kind of known for having some problems. So in this video, I was kind of showing you what we ran into and how I fixed it. So hopefully that was helpful to you. And then on top of that, we were also modifying it by making this structure right here. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was informative for you. And as always, I appreciate all of your support from here at the Zultan. So please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.